YouTubers. Well, I'm back at it here on the old Husqvarna 365 project saw, or better known as Rust Bucket. This video, I guess, we'll be calling it Chasing Gremlins, because I've had this saw out now and I've done some cutting with it. This thing goes like a bugger. It really cuts. My simple little mod there of doing a base gasket delete and doing the muffler mod there by turning it into a triple port muffler, it well, gives this saw incredible throttle response. Anyways, it's snappy right now, so I'm glad that turned out. It pulls good and hard, like I say, in the cut as well. It's cutting really well, but we've got a few little gremlins that are cropped up here, and they always do when you're dealing with old saws. And of course, it's the things that I didn't check or overlooked in my well, I guess I wouldn't say haste or rush to get it going, but well, like anything, when you take it for granted, that's usually the things that are going to give you trouble. One of the issues was with this saw sitting so long. Like I said, this saw was hadn't been used in a good long while. The tank vent was acting up there. It would start running a little funny after you'd burn off about a third or half the tank of fuel. You shut the saw off and you could hear, it sounded like springtime when you have baby birds chirping in the trees. So I knew it was a tank vent issue. So the one day to counteract that, I just literally filled the gas tank right full to the cap, closed it up tight of course, and sat it out here in front of the shop on a sunny warm day here. And it started, as most of you know, that if you overfill a gas tank on a saw, the expansion pressure starts pushing fuel out. So that's what it did. It was started puking fuel out of the vent, which is what I wanted, because I wanted to flush whatever gummy old crap was in there, and it seemed to work. It's not chirping anymore, but every once in a while seems to act up a little bit of an issue. I'll do it again, maybe once more, maybe twice more, just to, like I say, keep flushing it out without actually having to get in there and pull the vent out or try and change it or clean it or whatever. So that's a simple way of trying to do it, and I've done it before on a couple other saws, and sometimes it works, sometimes not. Sometimes you still have to dig into it and go fully at it, and either just change the vent or do a proper cleaning. But if you recall, like I was earlier videos was saying about this saw here, it's got a lot of corrosion all over on the fasteners and everything all over the body of the saw. Well, I overlooked to double check the magnets on the flywheel and the coil to make sure that if there wasn't excess rust on there, and there is, and I see there's a tiny little bit of a rub there that cropped up, because they seem to have this coil almost tight to the flywheel. It's there's hardly any air gap at all. I've gone ahead and checked it, so I will be I'm just going to take the coil off, and I'll go ahead here off camera and pull the top cover off again and take the air shroud off here, and I'm going to pull the coil and clean up the magnets on the flywheel and the contacts on the coil. Like I say, I got a couple rub marks here on the flywheel. Nothing major, no major damage, but it is telling me it's too close, and with the corrosion, that with the rust on there, it created an interference issue. So I guess that's what my momentary squeal was there when I first started to run the saw. So no, it's don't believe it's crank bearings or anything going out. Like I say, when I had the top end off of here, I rolled it over and over and over, and looking at the bottom end, there's no bearings little ball bearings chasing each other in the bearing cages or anything like that. I checked it again here. I had the clutch off on the other side. I checked my clutch bearing. I thought maybe it was a clutch bearing. Sometimes old bearings will all suddenly give up the ghost, especially when you do a performance mod to a saw, or you change run characteristics. Those clutch bearings can sometimes crap out. So, but no, it looks in good shape. There's not an issue there. Other little thing here, I see that they've didn't mention it the other day. Somebody repaired the ignition kill switch wire with the wrong wire. It's just a very small fine wire. At least if they'd used the same size wire, it would be okay. But what's happening is it doesn't stay in the keeper channel, and the air shroud here keeps falling out. So what's going to happen is it's going to probably, like the original one got damaged, it keeps migrating its way down towards the fan, and it's going to get caught, rubbed, or ripped off. So I'm not going to change this wire right now. They heat shrink. They use a piece of heat shrink on here. They sealed it proper. It's working okay. The switch is working good. No issues there. So all I'm going to do is put a little bit of double-sided rubberized tape on here so that it can snap into these keepers here on the air shroud and keep that up out of the way. Just lots of little things, like I say, these gremlins that if you don't check every little detail, or if you, like I say, in my haste to kind of get it going, I guess, I knew I should have checked it, but just thought, well, it should be fine. I mean, I ran it here for, already put quite a few tanks of fuel through it. I was noodling or rip cutting a bunch of big ugly firewood blocks that I didn't feel like lifting, and I was using it over at the logging site. Like I say, it's running good. It's pulling hard and doing what it should. So I just need to nip these little things here in the bud and get them taken care of before it turns into something major. That's all. So, but anyways, we're gonna get on with it here. Okay. Anyways, you can see here I got the coil off, and yeah, this is of course the good old school non-rev limiter coils, the old black ones. I'm just being careful here, but I'm just cleaning a little bit of crud off of everything here. Got everything cleaned up. You got to make sure your ground bolt, your ground spots for where your bolts are and stuff are, that's all clean and no corrosion on it. I went ahead and when you're working on these things, make sure you take a small pick of some sort and clean the crud and dirt out of your Allen head or your cap head screws, so you don't where's my, got a business card here. Bring the magnets around. Just like so. And then go ahead and cinch them down or torque them down, and that's it. Some people like to put Loctite in them to keep them from backing out, but if you torque them down good, don't overdo it. That's almost too tight already, but anyways, there we go. Now we actually have a little bit of clearance. You can see past there. Everything is good. Pretty self-explanatory, just showing what the procedure of going through, checking everything, making sure all my ground and contact points aren't corroded, and cleaned them up. A little bit dirty. There was a little bit of corrosion behind the one there, and just scratch it with a sharp screwdriver, or take a little bit of emery cloth or something and just clean up your contacts, make sure everything is good, and that way you've eliminated any ignition potential run issues on a saw. So anyways, I'm going to continue on here, and we'll bring you back here when I get a little further into it here. Well, there we have it, folks. It's buttoned back up, and like I say, got a few little things taken care of there. Got the rust cleaned off the contacts there on the flywheel there, and check the contacts on the coil, make sure there's no corrosion there and everything's clean, and went ahead and tucked away that kill switch wire there, and took care of that, and cleaned up a couple other little things here off camera. And yeah, sometimes if you start having a little bit of something doesn't seem right, best thing to do is just stop and investigate and check it out, especially when you are bringing old saws back to life and doing investigative, well, just getting stuff up and running again. Sometimes, like I say, you can run into these little gremlins that all suddenly pop up, and that's just the way it is when you're dealing with project saws, in particular old saws. So even newer saws that don't mean nothing, issues can creep up on you, and before you know it, if you don't take care of them, you can ruin a saw pretty quick if you don't investigate and check it out. So far everything looks good. My plug is burning nice and actually beyond dark tan, almost a little bit rich, so that's a good sign. I know I have the bottom end. I know I got my low jet opened up quite a bit there. It's almost overfueling a bit there. I might take and bring it up a tad. But the temperature has been bouncing and fluctuating around so much here. It's been hard for me to, well, from every time I use it, I have to tweak it a little bit because we've had some wild temperature swings here up and down. Every time you have a 10-degree swing in temperature, it seems to greatly affect saw tuning. So, and yes, this is the Zama carb on here that everybody loves to hate, but so far it takes a tune when I it's very sensitive. It takes a tune when I put it. It holds the tune for how I adjust it for that afternoon worth of running. And once this saw is running, shut it off, go do something, come back, and one pull and fires back up again. So I don't think I can really complain about that. Like I say, I might have to do a carb kit in it here at some point. It's running pretty stable, but a little bit when you come down off a hard buck, it seems to kind of farts around a little bit, and then it settles down, and then it's fine. You can do a bunch of other cutting with it. But anyways, like I say, my tank vent is the one that's I think right now is the one that's giving me a little bit of issue there. So I just thought I'd do a little bit of a checkup on it here after running it a bit and getting a little bit of time on it. And that's usually the best thing to do with any of these saws is when you're doing a project there, run it a bit and put a few tanks of gas through, even if everything seems fairly okay. But if you're suspicious of something, check it out and dig into it a little bit further and see what's going on. And that's what I did, and so far everything seems to be okay, like I say, other than just a couple little gremlins there. So anyways, thanks everybody for stopping by and checking out another one of my videos, and don't forget the old like, share, subscribe. I hate asking, but that's how it goes on YouTube. We'll see you all in the next one.